Washington is in a pre-playoff funk with 4 straight losses after winning John Wall's first game back following knee surgery. Not only are they losing, 2 of those losses are to teams that were, for all intents and purposes, out of the playoffs before the season began. The Bulls and the Hawks. On Sunday, you're hearing the word selfish a lot, describing their offense and their defense. Scott Brooks is at his wits' end. I know teams aren't always playing at their best before productive postseason runs, but how concerning is this?
You know, it's very concerning if it's all true. And this is what I ask myself, and we've all been around a long time. So do you ask yourself this question? Are they trying to position themselves to play the right opponent, or do they really have these kind of problems? Because I never thought with John Wall coming back that, you know, they would be in this position this late in the season with 4 straight losses and losing to teams, as you said, that aren't in the playoff position. You know, so you ask yourself, are they positioning, or is this real? What's really going on?
Well, it's interesting because the selfish thing has been coming up all season long. That's not just the last week or so. They were talking about being selfish offensively, and then more recently it's defensively. But this has been the sort of personality conflict and team personality issue that they faced all season.
Without a doubt. That has been a narrative for them the whole season. But we thought that it was kind of fixed, right? They were playing good. Yeah. You know, everybody was happy. And then John came back, and now they've lost 4 out of 5, right? Mm-hmm. And I just asked myself, are they positioning, trying to play the right opponent, and using this selfish narrative line to position themselves so they can get the right opponent, or is this real? I really don't know, because this is the most confusing team that I think any of us
all
have
season
watched
long, all
this
season
whole
long.
season.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's interesting. You know, Sunday after they lost to the Hawks, Scott Brooks said nobody wanted to share the ball, which is something that has come up repeatedly over the course of the season.
So the thing for me that makes me think that these are real issues that they have, and not just a way to avoid saying we prefer to play Team X.
Yeah. Boston
is.
I mean, honestly, probably Boston over Toronto.
Be a really odd decision to make, to say you want to play a team that's in that kind of a groove, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they've found a way to overcome all year, so why are they going to be any different? What I think is really interesting is all year long they've struggled to beat the teams they're supposed to beat. When John was there, when John wasn't there, now that he came back, they lose to teams that they are not supposed to be losing to, which speaks to me to selfishness in and of itself, because everybody's going into those games trying to get theirs instead of doing that which is best for the team to win games. And you tend to do that, and Coach and Isaiah, you've been through basically everything you can possibly do in the NBA, right? Yeah. You tend to do that against teams where you think you're going to win anyway, so I can get mine tonight. And so I think that sort of goes along and dovetails with what they have dealt with. And I don't think it's any one individual person. I think it comes from accepting the roles that you're being asked to play within the hierarchy. Yeah. Maybe the one who has to be number 2 thinks he's number 1. Maybe the one who has to be number 3 thinks he's number 2. And it just sort of snowballs.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's confusing, and that's a good possibility, you know. But I do think that everyone in the East right now, at least from 5 through 8, everyone was trying to position themselves, looking at Boston as the weaker team, because they don't have their top 2 guys right now, you know. And if you're looking in the playoffs right now in the East, you got to say that, you know, out of the 1 and 2 seeds right now, East and West, Boston is probably the weaker. And I would think that everyone in the East is trying to position themselves to play them. Well, that's the only excuse I can come up with Washington for what I'm saying.
I mean, to me, first of all, there's just no rhyme or reason for what Washington has done game to game this season. So,
starting from Game 5.
No, that's absolutely right. As inconsistent as they've been, that's a dangerous game to play if that's in fact what's happening there. I'm in the camp that they're just dysfunctional.
Yeah, and if we agree. If we can all say either they're dysfunctional or they're positioning, and I really don't know.
I vote dysfunctional.
Yeah, I wish I knew. I really don't know, because they got good talent, they got good players, but from Game 5, it's kind of been like this for them.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing that's beautiful about the playoffs is a lot of those personal agendas go away. And at that point, everybody starts to realize, all right, look, it's really all about winning at this point. And I think they're going to come together enough to surprise people a little bit for the playoffs if they can all get on the same page defensively. But with John in and out of the lineup, that role delineation thing has definitely got to have them a little uneasy.